Welcome in episode 37, BBL Sports Talk, the Big Boys League. Today's episode brought to you by Central Road Vision Care, sponsor of today's show. We have a very, very special guest. We'll introduce him here in a second. Lions were on a bye. We also took it as a bye week. We're sorry, but we're back. Excited to dive in.
Every time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, very, very special guest on tonight's episode of BBL Sports. He is, as of right now, the leader in the clubhouse for BBL Fan of the Year. This is his debut on BBL Sports. It is none other than Nick Vergos, a.k.a. Doctor, a.k.a. Admiral Bird. Verg, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Appreciate you hopping on. And we always ask everyone that comes on the show, we got to start this way. Just introduce yourself. Who are you? And then where do your loyalties lie? What teams are you a fan of?
I am Nick Vergos. I am 28 years old. I'm from Flushing, Michigan. I think it definitely starts with the Big Four Detroit sports teams: Pistons, Lions, Tigers, Red Wings, always. And then I am a Sparty. And I'm proud to say
He is a Sparty.
Oh, he's proud.
I'm very proud.
He is a Sparty. No, and I'm glad. I'm actually so glad we're getting you on this week because Jet couldn't make it. Rumor is, I think he's out on a date, maybe a double date, something like that, and he couldn't make it. And I didn't want to do this episode without a Spartan perspective. So
I think he's dodging it. I think he's dodging it.
Conspiracy theory on the next conspiracy pod is Jet dodging the Michigan State conversation and forcing Vergos to take his place.
Some are saying.
Oh, well, all right. Again, Verg, I can't believe it's been this long without having you on the show. Happy to have you on. Have some good conversation. Obviously, you know ball. You know what you're talking about. And you're going to bring a little bit of that Spartan spirit to the conversation. So we're going to start there. Obviously, the big game this weekend, Michigan State. I don't want to spend too much time on the game breakdown because I think you guys will agree with me. That might have been the worst football game I've ever laid eyes on. Like, that was just an atrocious product on the field on both sides. But here's what I want to do. Stark, you got a minute. I want you to break that game down and give your perspective from the Michigan side. And then, Vergos, we're going to go to you and have you give your breakdown from the MSU side. So, Stark, kick us off.
Yeah, it was not a fun game to watch, I don't think. And I kind of had I knew Michigan was going to win the game. Didn't know if they were going to cover. Here's what Michigan needs to do. These are the only kinds of games they can win. You have a team that has just a bad enough offense that your defense is going to. Your defense is good. Michigan's defense is good. They stop them enough that Michigan takes a lead and can just run until they break something off. They can win those games, and they won that game last Saturday. They cannot beat teams if they have to come from behind. Underwood, I think he's good, but the passing game doesn't look good. So that was like a perfect recipe for Michigan to win that game. I don't think they got robbed. Michigan State got robbed. I think it just delayed the inevitable. But I don't think either team's good. State's really, really bad, and Michigan's not that good. That's how I would assess that.
Vergos, I'm not even going to add anything to that. Response to Stark there, what was your breakdown of the game from the Michigan State side?
Well, I feel like it started as kind of like a classic Michigan State rivalry game. The field was a little tilted due to some field position issues for Michigan State, but I think they weathered the storm pretty good in that first half. I mean, to only be down by 3 going into halftime was good. I mean, they started the game off 10-0, so but they came out of halftime, first drive, Michigan State forces a fumble. They would have got it at the 50-yard line, down 3, and gets called back.
He's offsides.
That's what they called, but was he?
I think
Have you
I
seen
no.
a Have you seen a video
I will
or
come
a
out and
photo
say
that
it.
has
He
shown
wasn't.
that he was
He
offsides?
wasn't. I know.
I
I'll
will
say
come
it
out
too.
and say he
So
was
that's a
not
big.
offsides.
That's a massive swing in momentum. You know,
Yeah.
to have that, joy taken away from you, and then 2 plays later they go down and they score a touchdown. That's pretty deflating. And I think that changed the game a lot, along with a lot of, penalties called on Michigan State that Michigan players were getting away with all night, on pass interferences, defensive holdings, um, and it changes the game. I mean, you know, there was a lot of Michigan fans there, so it was pretty back and forth. I mean, I thought the spirit was there. I mean, you know, I know you're getting ready to say that you're kind of not feeling the spirit of the rivalry anymore, but in the stadium, it was feeling, you know, pretty hostile. Um, and after that play, it just all changed, and they never really came out of it. And
So
yeah,
let
go
me
ahead.
ask you. I want to know if, and I'm not saying I have an opinion on this, but let's say they don't throw that flag for that offsides call. Do you feel like there's a different outcome in the game?
I do, and I think it's, I'm not necessarily going to say we would have won, but it would have definitely been closer. Even if they don't go down and score there, we have a really good punter. He's going to pin them down there deep, and it's going to change the game because Bryce Underwood wasn't throwing the ball all night. It was just run, run,
Run,
run.
run, run.
Um, and if we put them in a different position where they have to throw it a lot, I mean, you know, maybe someone makes a play on it. You don't know. I mean,
Yeah. No, I hear you. I hear you, and I think so. You kind of already alluded to it, and I want to drop. If you want my opinion on the game, my opinion is basically this, and it leads into the point that I want to make, which was I thought the game was atrocious football. I watched it because it was Michigan State. Obviously, I'm going to watch that game, but it was not an exciting game for me. I didn't find myself like eyes glued to the TV. I thought it was bad football on both sides. Michigan's offense is like I want to claw my eyes out when I watch Michigan offense on the field, which sucks because I think Bryce Underwood is a true a big time talent, and I'm a little nervous about what the coaching staff is doing to his development. But what I want to get at is I want to know, is this a hot take? Am I by myself here, or do other people agree with me? Where I feel like, and this goes for the state of college football, but specifically this Michigan State game, where the love of the game, the passion for rivalry games, the passion for for that Saturday night football game, where in the past, this Michigan State game, you throw the records out the window. All that matters is 60 minutes on that football field. It's a state championship. And I just have found myself, really the last couple years, but especially this year, just not really giving a shit about this game. And I think a big part of that is State has kind of become bottom tier in the Big Ten. Michigan, since Harbaugh left and they won the Natty, has been very mid-tier in the Big Ten. And it feels like the game doesn't mean what it used to mean. So I want to throw that to you guys. Do you agree with me, or am I insane?
I agree with you, and I have a comparison to make. The Ohio State-Michigan rivalry really has never died, or even died out for a short period of time. And I do think it's, especially lately, because at the end of the season, that game matters a lot because they're both usually very much in the top of the Big Ten, if not national rankings, at least the last several years. Michigan State is a bottom-tier team, and I'm not knocking them. It is more fun when they're good. When both teams are playing for a lot, like Michigan, what is Michigan State playing for right now? To not get their coach fired. Like that is, it just, I'm not dogging Michigan State. I don't like the school as like athletics. I'm not a fan at all. But it is definitely not the same when they're not a good team. And you have, like, Michigan was bad last year. Michigan State was bad last year. So really not a big deal. It's just I think more exciting when teams are good. I think that goes for any rivalry. It's just going to be more exciting when both teams have something more than just their rivalry to play for. So I think I agree with you, Adam. Like, until State gets better, and even Michigan gets better to this point, because otherwise it's going to be a really mean nothing game. But I don't know. It's just cool when they're both like playing. they've never both been playing for a playoff position, but like a high bowl game or something like that, where it matters a lot more than just beating the other school. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree with that take. I would actually argue 2021. I mean, let's go back to 2021. Both those teams were 7-0, ranked in the top 5 when they met and played each other, I believe, or they were both top 10 teams. And there were a ton of playoff implications in that game, and that game was awesome. And State ends up winning that game. Kenneth Walker probably just scored another touchdown. But I think one of the stats that the broadcast NBC brought up, which I feel like this is kind of what I'm getting at, right? Is it's not even so much the football. I think it's more so the state of college football itself being the transfer portal, NIL, the crazy Wild West that's college football. You know, both those teams, there's about 100 student athletes on those rosters, like 200 kids that are a part of those teams. And between both teams, 60 of them are from the state of Michigan. And a ton of these impact players did not start their college careers at Michigan or Michigan State. And they're viewing it as like, okay, this is a stop in my college career because this is where I'm getting my paycheck right now. And that's what I'm getting at, is I feel like that passion, the hatred for one another is kind of out the window when you don't have, like, I want the Michigan State teams to be like Spartan dogs and bleed green and white. And I want the Michigan Wolverines to be the same way and bleed blue. And I just feel like that's what's missing out of this rivalry. So, Vergos, I want to throw it over to you. Am I insane, or do you agree with me?
No, I definitely agree with that. You know, especially as somebody who went to the school, you know, you gotta have that factor that you want to play this brand of football, you know, and the team does not have that. I mean, they're soft. They lack a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball, and that's kind of what the program is built on, was playing hard-nosed defense and, you know, coming out and really thumping the opponent. And whether the transfer portal has something to do with that or not, yeah, I mean, it ruins the whole game for me, honestly.
I agree.
Because, you know, as somebody that likes to follow players in high school being recruited to, you know, whatever school, not even just Michigan State. I like to see where all the 5 stars go, yada, yada, yada. And there's just no guarantee that they're even going to be on that team 1-2 years down the road. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's a great point.
The game's in a bad place.
I agree, and I think something needs to be done. This is we could spend an hour on this topic because I can get worked up and talk about it. But I just will tell you, I grew up. I mean, I've always been a football fan. I think we're all in the same boat where I've always been a football fan, and nothing could ever top my love for college football. But in the last 5 years, I have flip-flopped. I am a much bigger NFL fan, and I care more about NFL Sundays than I do college football Saturdays, and it was not that way as I was growing up. The pageantry, the tradition, the passion for college football, nothing could top it, and in 5 short years, NIL and the transfer portal have done that to me. So, and I don't think I'm alone. It doesn't sound like I'm alone in feeling that way. I think a lot of people agree, so...
The product is pretty good when you get to December. You know, I like the 12-team playoff, but it's just, you know, your team has to be good to be into it. You know, because
yeah.
No, I mean, what am I going to do now? My team's not in it, and I'm just going to gamble on it. You know, that's going to keep me interested. You know, the money, but I just don't know how they're going to keep up like this. There's got to be, you know, I think going down to 1 transfer window will be pretty good instead of 2. But there's a lot of pressure on the kids and the coaches, and, you know, you can't rely on developing football players anymore. You got to rely on who can recruit the best, who's got the most money, and it sucks. It sucks.
Exactly. No, exactly. I couldn't agree more. And you know what? One of these days we're going to do a show on just how to fix college football, what our ideas are on how to fix college football, because I have a million of them. And I think what you just said is a step in the right direction, and I know that they're doing that, which is great to see. My biggest problem is that these NIL deals, you can't tie to on-field production. There's no contracts. Some player can come in and sign a $10 million deal over 4 years, and if they transfer and go somewhere else, you cannot tie it to them being at that school or them performing on the field, which there's just so many issues. Go ahead and wrap this up.
College football is, dude, it's going to die. Because the second this happened, I always said, yeah, they deserve money. Never in my mind would I imagine it would be like this, right? So they went from 0 to 100 so fast. I also looked up, since the transfer portal opened about 7 years ago, there has been over 12,000 players that have transferred. Like, that seems insane. And it says it could be far more. They just don't have all of them, like, regulated or whatever. That's insane. Number 2, I don't understand how a 18, 19-year-old kid is going to receive this much money and you want them to stay motivated. You want them to work hard? What are you talking about? Nick Saban says it best. The game of football that he loved died. And that's the idea of you work your ass off. If you want to get paid, you go to the NFL. You go do it there. You earn it. You go. It's a joke. You're going to have so many kids make a lot of money when they're in college that will never make another dime the rest of their life because they're not going to understand how to work. No one, and I'm not saying like work in a job, but be an athlete. Like, you have to be extremely motivated. I have a good example. Conor McGregor. He used to be one of the best fighters in the world. Once you get that bread, once you get a little taste of it, you don't have that hunger anymore. So I think you're going to see every year it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And the other point to this, I kind of getting heated about it because it's crazy. It's kind of insane how they flip the script so much. The other side of it, I know I've said this before. I think the jobs that took because of all of this NIL and transferring is, what is the point of a high school football recruiter? What is the point? Why not wait until they play their freshman year and just go get every transfer portal you can get? Because if I'm a good recruiter and I find a 3-star recruit, I know I've said this before, I find a 3-star recruit, a diamond in the rough, and he comes to the school, and his freshman year we were right. We called it, we found a stud, and he's playing at this smaller D1 school. Do they even get excited about that anymore? Because they're going to be gone the second they have a chance. And they'll be gone from the next school until they get up to the top. It's just crazy. Adam, like you said earlier, you grew up like being a huge college football fan. This isn't college football. It's not, the way it works isn't anymore, and it's crazy. I just think it's bad for the kids and the guys that are going to college to play football, and then, I don't know, the old school way, you work your ass off, you succeed, you go to the NFL, then you get your payday. It's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. All right, this is how we're going to wrap up this conversation. And again, I didn't want it to go all on kind of this broader college football conversation, but I think we needed to have it because I think that feeling on the Michigan State game not meaning anything and not being that excited about it is just a microcosm on the state of college football. That's why I wanted to bring it up. But crazy stat for you guys.
And
Quinn Ewers opted to go. Yeah,
go
okay,
ahead,
go ahead.
I didn't hear if it. Go, you.
All right, Quinn Ewers opted to go to the NFL. Got drafted in the NFL, right? He's a backup quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. His base pay this year is $840,000. If he stayed in college football, there were reports that teams were willing to pay him up to $5 million to transfer to their school last year. So 2 things. Quinn Ewers clearly made the wrong decision, but secondly, that's insane. That is just insane to me, and that's part of the problem.
Money.
Yeah, it's part of the problem. So, go ahead, and then we'll wrap up the college football convo.
I was talking to someone the other day. This is a question for Vergos. Is there quarterback controversy in East Lansing? And is there too much loyalty between Smith and Childs, being that they came from the same school, to where it's causing some problems on the team? And does it have anything to do with NIL? Does it have anything to do with the loyalty of transferring here and coming here together? Because, man, that other quarterback comes in, and he looks good. Like, he always dices a team up in the last drive of the game. Covers a lot of spreads.
He's a spread
That man covers some freaking spreads. You guys got to give that man jersey because he's covering spreads every week. My original question, do you think there's something weird going on where they're, like, not even considering going to look at another quarterback because he came with Smith and he probably made him a promise and all this stuff?
I think he's gone. after the year. Honestly, I think they're both gone
They're both
together.
gone.
Um, yeah, that I love that guy when he comes in, man. That's the first thing my dad
Alessio.
told me on Monday morning. He was like, "This Milosevic guy is the man. He comes in, he covers the spread, the over, everything." It's like I'm like, they should give him a shot. I mean, Childs has been. I mean, what's the season mean anymore?
Oh, he's not good.
He's been decent. A
He's
lot
an
of
idiot.
injuries, concussions. I think he's playing through a lot of stuff right now. But I would not mind giving that guy a chance, and I do think that it has a lot to do with what you're saying about them coming together, and Jonathan Smith wants to show that they're winning his way. If they're not, so that's why
Something
he's
like
going
that
to be
wouldn't
gone
happen
once the
without
season's
the
done.
portal.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, we're gonna see that a lot.
Yeah.
See that a lot.
Last question for Vergos and
Especially
college
with what's
football.
going on right now with all these guys getting fired.
How many guys
There's
from
gonna be
LSU
a
are going to
lot
end up
of
going over to wherever fucking Brian Kelly goes? Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Okay,
we
that's
don't-
a perfect
We
lead
don't want
into
that
my
scumbag.
final question for Vergos, and then we're going to get to NFL talk. I just want your dream hire. It could be anybody, but it's got to be in the realm of reality. Like, don't give me Nick Saban. Who's your dream hire when Jonathan Smith is ultimately fired?
John Gruden. That'd be fun.
I love
wouldn't it?
that. I love that. Yeah,
I have a good
like
idea
that.
for state or any team. That O coordinator on UCLA seems like he's not too shabby. Young guy, give him an opportunity. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Goldie,
I don't.
yeah, Goldie.
Yeah.
He's got the long blonde hair, dude. He just looks like a man that is meant to coach UCLA, though.
Yeah.
You can't
But
let him go if you're
I bet you could
UCLA.
get
But
a
no, I
shot
like where your
earlier.
head's at. Yeah,
I've heard.
I like where your
I've
head's
heard
at.
Max Bulla's name thrown out there a lot, but doesn't
Isn't that the old
sound like
linebacker?
he is the old linebacker. He's currently the linebackers coach for Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Kind of coming up in the pipeline a little bit, but
I like
still a
stuff like
little
that.
bit young. Yeah,
Give him a
it'd
chance.
be-
I hate recycling coaches.
he would definitely
Yeah.
bring the Spartan energy back into the program because Smith has he. I mean, they talk about it all the time. Did he even know them and Michigan were rivals last year?
No,
He acted
serious.
like they were
I know.
going to play Maryland.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's another reason of exactly what I mean with college football.
let's talk.
But
Can we talk Lions?
yeah, let's get to exciting and fun conversations. All right, we have not recorded since Monday Night Football. I know the Lions went on bye week. I know it's been a little bit, but we're just going to spend a little bit of time talking about that performance because shout out to the defense. Shout out Kelvin Shepard. Shout out Nick Whiteside, Rock Ya-Sin. I mean, I cracked up the first time I saw somebody refer to that secondary as the Legion of Whom. It's just like the greatest name ever. And we're going to do a breakdown of the game, but I just got to ask, is that the greatest defensive performance you can remember seeing out of the Detroit Lions? Just given the circumstances.
I've never seen them make a good player look so bad as they made Baker look that night. They made him look so bad. Looked like he was just tossing things up to nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Definitely not with the beaten down secondary, dude. Those guys were keep them going. That was incredible. I mean, they're led by their core, but those guys did such a good job, and I am convinced it's Kelvin Shepard. I'm convinced that he is just such a good motivator and coach that he can get something out of these guys that are like nobodies, which is like maybe coaches like don't treat these nobodies as well, but dude, the defense is electric. So
Yeah,
good.
they looked
Bird.
really good. They were in Mayfield's face all night. They were making him throw over guys with hands up in his air. I mean, that's why the ball was sailing over everybody's head because they knocked down a couple passes early, and then the secondary they really took over that game. And I was talking to some of my buddies from optometry school, and I was like, "You guys ready to watch all these DoorDash drivers play cornerback and safety on Monday Night Football?" And they were all laughing, and then I had to kind of eat my words when you got Arthur Mollett, taking a ball out of a guy's hands, just like stuff we never even see from
Unbelievable
the
pick.
starters.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
Terrion, I would not mind if he didn't suit up the rest of the year because
He's got to be shitting himself.
Yeah.
No, for real. For real.
Yeah,
And
I was
neither
very
safety
happy
was
with that.
playing that night either.
No,
no
That's
Kirby,
insane.
no Branch, no DJ Reed,
they
no
only had a
Terrion.
Meek.
Mm-hmm.
Only and Meek, the punch out.
He's such a dog, dude.
I'll tell you
I love
right
him,
now,
Meek.
the best player on the defense isn't Hutchinson right now. It's Jack Campbell. He is
Without a doubt.
unbelievable. He is so explosive. Gosh, they're exciting.
Yeah, we were
That's how my-
texting that night, and I didn't even realize it until you told me. Like, Jack Campbell is just shutting Rashad White down right now.
I've never been more okay with having a player like choke in a fantasy matchup. But the first catch Rashad White made, I was like, oh, there's no way. Because Jack Campbell just breaks through blocks and just lights people up. The first hit, I'm like, oh, he has no chance. And then the rest of the night, they have to use their running back to chip Hutchinson every single play. Whew. They're going to be a problem, man. I think it's the coaching, too. I swear to God, I think he's a much better coach than Aaron Glenn. And he runs, I don't know anything about systems, but just seems like they're always getting to the quarterback, and their tackling is legit. Elite tackling.
I don't want to bash on Aaron Glenn too much because they were decimated last year, and they still won 15 games.
Yeah.
And there was really the same situation as Monday night, where they're, 19 of their defensive players were on IR. So he didn't have a lot to work with, and they won a lot of games with what he was given. So I think him getting a head coaching job was very deserved, but I'm not upset about it because he left us a nice little protege.
Yeah. No, he did. And Stark, we've talked about this on the podcast before, and Calvin Shepard runs a very similar scheme to what AG ran. But what I like about Calvin, and this isn't bashing AG, but AG was just hard-headed. He's going to blitz and man up every snap. I don't even think zone was – I don't even know if they had a play call for a zone coverage. Like, I don't know if they ran it once last year. And what I like about Shepard is he's a little bit more willing to run a hybrid. Yeah. They want to man up and get after the quarterback, but he's not afraid to play some zone. And if you look at the splits, the Lions are playing more zone defense under Calvin Shepard than they ever have under Dan Campbell. And so I like he's mixing it up a little bit more. And yeah, man, that performance was just awesome. Let's flip to the other side of the ball because I have a really interesting question for you guys. And again, maybe it's a hot take, maybe I'm crazy, or maybe I'm right here. Something feels off to me with the Lions offense. Just something feels like it's not clicking. Yet, I think they're third in the league in points scored. They're putting up numbers. And it's just, I can't put my finger on it. I can't figure out, is it John Morton trying to get comfortable in the play calling? J-Mo has been basically non-existent in this offense all season.
Yeah.
They're 0 for, I think I saw the stat, like 0 and 18 on 3rd and 10s or longer so far this season.
Stole my
something that we're used to seeing the Lions pick up pretty routinely. And so I'm actually not saying this is so much of a negative point. I'm actually saying it more of a, I feel confident they're going to get it figured out. And when they do, like, oh, boy, watch out. And so I just want to know, do you guys get that same feeling watching the Lions offense that just something's missing? It's not clicking.
I agree with you. I do think something's off. I was so pumped to bring that stat. I noticed it in the bottom of the ticker at the game. They're 0 for 18, 3rd and 10 or more. That went to 0 and 19 because they did not get that following one. I think that's a problem. They aren't able to get the explosive downfield passing plays that they've been able to get in years past, and maybe it's because he doesn't have as much time in pass protection. The run block looks great. They're creating great holes. But I don't know if he has enough time in pass protection to be throwing long balls because I don't think he is throwing many. I think they're not very deep downfield shots. Here's another thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong here. I love the Lions games when everyone is involved. When you got J-Mo making a play, you got Amon-Ra doing his thing, you got Laporta playing, you got Montgomery and Gibbs going. I feel like right now it's like a one-man show on like certain weeks. So like it's going to be Gibbs last week where he's the one doing almost all the work. A couple weeks ago, like Amon-Ra had monster games, those couple in a row. You have J-Mo with his random like 112-yard game and a touchdown or whatever.
Two catches.
I love it when they're consistently all involved. I feel like they're not right now. I feel like there is something off a little bit where they're not able to all be connected at the same time, but they're good enough to rely on a couple of them a night. So if we do see the offense start clicking, like, they aren't bad. They're not playing bad at all. But I think we just know they're capable of looking so much better.
Verg, you agree?
I agree with most of it. What I don't agree on is really the running game. I don't think it has been up to par. I think it's been a little bit too much boom or bust.
I agree.
I think, a lot of those inside runs, how many runs have we seen Gibbs have like 1 or 2 yards on, or Montgomery have 1 or 2 yards on? I think
or
the
even
offense has
tackled
become
behind the line of scrimmage.
Right. The offenses became a little bit too much predictable with Montgomery in the game. And I think they know that. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot of, trickery with him involved. So I would like to see the run game get a little bit better. We have very young offensive guards, and I played a little bit of guard in high school, and they are very important in the run game when it comes to, double teams and getting off to the second level or running little trap plays. So it is tough to, and I never sniffed college or pro football. So it's got to be tough to,
You were close.
adapt. Yeah, I was close.
I saw some crazy crack blocks on the way on kick return from you, dude. Some souls on kick return.
Yeah, you can still find those on Huddle.
Hell yeah.
Pull them up every now and then.
But,
So yeah, I would like to see the run game get a little bit more consistent. Really breaking off those 6, 7 yarders.
Gosh.
Just sets up second and short, run a little play action, get JMO down the field. So I think those go hand in hand. Not getting those little chunk runs doesn't open up the play action as much. That's where Goff's is at his best, and I think that's why we saw a little bit of a stale offensive performance last week.
Yeah. Well, and so yeah, I think we're all in agreement here. I think I think you guys agree with me too. I have total confidence that we're only in week 9. Like, this is gonna get figured out by January, and I think.
Oh, sorry.
I'm gonna make a prediction. I think this bye week was needed, and I think they're gonna figure some things out over this bye week. I think Brian Flores has a really good scheme when you're playing young quarterbacks who don't know what they're doing. I think Jared Goff owns Brian Flores. I think you're going to see an offensive explosion this week in Ford Field.
Yeah.
Like, I am expecting 40-plus points out of the Lions this week.
I want to make a point.
Yeah.
Vergos, you corrected me with the running game because there's proof of this too. I think Gibbs is so good that he will do his thing, and it really doesn't matter how good or bad the offensive line is because he's that good. But we see Montgomery struggling right now, and he is a very good running back. To see him struggling, it's not him getting worse. I think it's just that he doesn't have that same game-breaking speed that Gibbs does to be able to break through on those big plays. And I think if the line gets better, you'll see more Montgomery. Like, with 97-1, so many people were so pissed today that they're not giving him the ball. And I do think the point of it is, like, Gibbs is capable of working with what they got right now. And I think Montgomery needs a little more help where he can get going and just thump some linebackers and thump some cornerbacks and safeties. But he's struggling to get through the D-line. So, yeah, Vergos, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Troy Aikman said it when Gibbs broke off that 78-yarder the other night, which was that's why Gibbs is in the game. I mean, Monty probably picks up 25-30 there. He probably gets caught by that safety. And Gibbs you ain't touching him. You give him some space, and he's gone. He's your home run hitter. So, yeah. But again, I'm not saying this to be negative. I'm not saying this as like I'm worried about it or it's a problem. What I'm saying is that the Lions, as is, might be the best team in the NFL, if not their top 3. And when they figure this offense out and Morton gets a little bit more comfortable in the play calling, this offensive line gels a little bit better, watch out. And as long as the Lions stay healthy, I'm feeling good headed into the playoffs. So,
100%.
All right, let's talk a little trade deadline action.
Let's go.
I just got to Got to make sure I get one of those in on the podcast tonight. All right. I want to talk a little NFL trade deadline action. We're going to mainly focus on Lions stuff and what we want to see, but just kind of real quick, just throw out, who might be on the block, what teams might be buyers, sellers. I was listening to Schefter talking today, and he's thinking it's not going to be that active of a deadline. Interestingly enough, he's hearing Cincy is not going to sell at the deadline, which is just insane to me, just wildly insane to me. One team in particular that is going to be a seller, and people that might be on the move, Shaheed as well as Cooks out of New Orleans, which I think we'll see. I think you'll see selling coming out of Miami. We're going to bring that back. There's a player I would really like to have in Detroit on that Miami team, and then. I have maybe a little bit of a wild card that I would like to see the Lions land. So here's how we're going to start the trade deadline talk. I'm going to start with you, Verg. If I told you that the Lions were only going to make one move at the deadline, and you had your choice between edge rush help or secondary help, which side you leaning?
Just based on the state of the team right now, I would go secondary. And that's no diss to the Legion of Whom, but we could use some extra depth back there. I've heard Reek Woolen's name out there.
Yes.
I'm not sure why Seattle would be shopping anybody right now with the way that they look. But I would take that.
I saw Woolen as well, so that it must have some steam because I also read about that.
Yeah.
Me as well.
I think
I
it's
don't really know.
I'll tell you a little background on Woolen. He's on his final year of his rookie deal. So he will be needed to get paid next year, and I don't know if if they can afford him.
Do they have people ahead of him, or why?
Witherspoon.
Okay.
Yeah, and they plan on paying Witherspoon. I think that's the story there is, they plan on paying Witherspoon. They don't plan on paying Reek Woolen, and he's also.
I'm assuming JSN has a deal coming up too soon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got a little bit of time before he gets there, but he'll get a big deal. I think the thing with Reek as well is maybe a change of scenery would do him well because his productivity has come down quite a bit in the last year and a half. So a change of scenery could be good for him. But I really like Reek because he's really good in man coverage. That's what he does best, and that is what the Lions want to do. So, Stark, are you team edge rusher or team secondary?
I'm team do not hedge the future. So if you can bring in someone for very light to just like is Darius Smith, I think I saw he retired, but I don't want him. I want someone that could come in and maybe hopefully not have to play much until later in the season and then let him go a little bit. I want to play a quick game. Can we play a quick game?
Sure.
I want everyone to pick. I want everyone to. Who is a one big name that you would love to see traded, and but it has to make sense.
To the Lions?
To anybody, just at the deadline.
Oh. Well, I think it's more fun if it's to the Lions. Okay, let's play it to the Lions. Dream player on the Lions at the deadline, but it has to make sense. It can't be insane. Like you can't say Myles Garrett.
I would love. You want me to go first?
You go first.
I'm going to do my original one because I just want to say this anyway. For outside the Lions, I think it'd be sick. Alvin Kamara needs to get traded. They need to trade him to the Chiefs, and not. I think that would be too good, but I would love to see him on that team. Kamara on the Chiefs would be sick. My thing for the Lions would be I want Trey Hendrickson. I want one of these edge rushers. I mean, Max Crosby. See, the Cowboys have called on him.
I did see that.
That's crazy. They do have a lot of draft capital with their trade they just made with the Packers. Something big. I want a big DN to match up with Hutch. I think ultimately that's what would make us unstoppable, is if they had guys on both sides of the line. Muhammad's been good. But, yeah, big name, I'd say Max Crosby. If not him, Trey Hendrickson. But Alvin Kamara to the Chiefs would be fun, too.
All right, I'll go real quick. So I'm going to keep mine a little bit more realistic because the Max Crosby deal could happen, but if you look at his he just signed a contract last year. That dead cap hit to the Raiders, they might do him a favor and trade him, but it doesn't make a ton of sense for the Raiders to trade Crosby right now. I also would love Hendrickson. Unfortunately, I'm reading they're not willing to move Hendrickson, which is just insane to me. No, right, which is just insane to me. Here's why I like Hendrickson, though. He's only got a year left on his deal, and the Lions have the cap space to pay him. Now, the problem preseason trading for him is that he wanted a new deal. Well, he ended up coming back, and the Lions weren't going to give him a massive multi-year deal. He ended up coming back and signing a somewhat increased 1-year deal with the Bengals. It would make a lot of sense to move him to a contender. So I hope it's smoke and it's not real, that they're not going to move him, because that would be ideal. And that would be my number one, Trey Hendrickson. It makes a lot of sense. If we're going to move past Trey Hendrickson, though, and let's say he's not available, I am team edge rusher, because you're getting DJ Reed back. You've got the 2 safeties. Terrion will actually be back this week. And secondary doesn't matter that much if we get after the quarterback. A name that is being shopped, that will be traded, that is on the move is Jalen Phillips out of Miami. And I would love him opposite of Hutch. And I don't think the price is going to be too high, where you're in your Super Bowl window, you're paying everybody, you're locking these guys up for the next couple years. I think it's about due time Brad Holmes takes a big swing. And I think Jalen Phillips, I don't think he would cost too much to detriment the future, and he would bring a ton to that defensive line. So that's going to be my dream. Vergos.
I like all those names, obviously. I think, to get kind of going what Stark said, I'd like to see Kamara traded to the Chargers, not the Chiefs.
I'd like that.
That would be nice.
I think Hendrickson, definitely at the top of my list, like dream scenario, we get him. And not even sign him back. I mean, if we could get him for like a day 2 pick, 4th rounder.
3rd or 4th, yeah. I would do it for a 3rd. Yeah.
If it would push their card, I would bump it up around.
He should be wanting out of there because, he's going to get much more exposure and attract a lot of people on the market when he becomes a free agent. So I think he should definitely be asking out of there. Something more realistic when it comes to edge rusher. I definitely like where your head's at with Phillips there. But the problem with the NFL trade deadline is that it's way too early. We're about 45% way through the season. Why can't we push it back 2 weeks to, let some teams kind of fizzle out and really make it into like an event like it is when we hit like NBA, NHL, MLB trade deadline? I mean, those are deadlines where like there's shows for it, like constant coverage. When NFL trade deadline day comes,
you don't know about it.
Nobody really cares, unless your team is like in conversations with somebody. But there's 4 or 5 teams that are out of it right now. So really not a lot to choose from.
No, I agree. I agree 100%. And I think, again, the point that you just made, it ties to Trey Hendrickson. The Bengals are 3-5, and they're 2nd in the AFC North.
They also traded for a quarterback.
And they traded for a quarterback. They think they still have a shot at making the playoffs. And I think us on the outside, you take a look at the Cincinnati Bengals, and you're like, okay, there may be a fun, exciting team. You're not getting into the playoffs. I wholeheartedly believe that. But for some reason, their front office does. And to your point, Vergos, you push this back 2 weeks, and let's say the Bengals at that point, they're 3-8. Well, all right. Now you're probably a little bit more willing to sell than you were at 3-5, thinking you might have a chance of sneaking in. So, no, I agree with that take 100%. I want to throw out 2 random potential names that could end up at the Lions. I've not read anything on this. I am just taking a look at the league and hoping and praying that maybe something could happen. And they're not big splash names, but they could help this team. One in the secondary, Washington. They're off to a terrible start. It looks like Jaden Daniels is going to be out for an extended period of time, and at that point, do you even bring him back if you're out of playoff contention at the end of the season? They're the oldest roster in the NFL. Could Marshawn Lattimore be on the move? It's a big name. He's older. He's in the back half of his career. He's not as productive as he was back in the day when he played with New Orleans. But could Marshawn Lattimore be on the move, and could we bring in a veteran corner to pair up with Terrion and DJ Reed and Amik towards the stretch run at the end of the season? Second name is a defensive end that's been on the move a lot lately. He's playing down in New Orleans. He's been quietly productive for the Saints this year. Chase Young.
Is he really? Yeah, I would love Chase Young.
He's been quiet, and it's a team that has a 0% shot of making the playoffs. That would be a nice little productive defensive end he's having a pretty good season down in New Orleans right now. So I just want to throw out just two random names that I just came up with on my own. I have not seen any news saying that those guys are on the block.
Those are good pulls. Those are definitely good pulls. Didn't we sign an old guy like Kendall Fuller? Did we sign
and then
him?
released him. We released him, I think, yesterday. Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering why
and he was
wasn't
from
a part
Washington.
of that. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Yeah,
all right.
Chase Young playing pretty good.
I'm telling you, he's having a quietly good season down in New Orleans.
Those are the guys that
like
end up getting traded too. It's the guys that nobody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like Breece Hall. Is anybody talking about him?
No, yeah, he could get traded. He had a monster week last week.
I wouldn't mind
Bring
that.
in Chase Young. I'm on that boat now. Yes. That's a fifth round pickup for him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if he's on the block, but he should be. If you're New Orleans, why would you not sell the house and just acquire draft capital?
They take all the picks they can get. That team is rough.
Show is awful.
We are
going.
Really
quick, the Hutch contract is awesome.
Yeah, that's actually okay. I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'm going to throw out one more idea that has nothing to do with the Lions, and then we're going to talk Hutch contract, and then we're going to end it. Last idea, you talked about a player going somewhere other than Detroit. Guys, this one makes way too much sense, and it would be hilarious to see. Kirk Cousins back to Minnesota.
Wow.
They need a veteran quarterback to back up JJ, and God forbid something happened to JJ. It makes too much sense.
He looked so bad for Atlanta last week.
So bad.
They might not be. They might be. What's going on there? They had Wentz on there. He was basically stretchered on the field in between each drive, and they just threw him off the stretcher and said, "Play quarterback." Yeah. He was so hurt.
I mean, did you see the medical report? Dude, he had a dislocated shoulder and like a fracture on his labrum. Yeah, it was like in I don't know, fractured like shoulder socket and dislocated shoulder. It was insane.
I've never seen a player so in pain and still play. It's crazy. That poor guy. He should sue them. That's crazy.
I know. And bring in Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Hutch.
Call me asparagus.
We will end here. We just have to mention it. Breaking news today. Brad Holmes does it again. Hutch, 4 years, $180 million, $141 guaranteed. So basically, structure of this deal, first and foremost, shorter term than I expected. Good news for the Lions. More guaranteed money than expected. Not terrible for the Lions. Less money in total than expected. Great news for the Lions. This is shout out to Brad Holmes. I can't believe he did it. Hutch becomes the second highest paid defensive end at $45 a year, but I expected this number to be in the 50s, and it comes in at 45. He's getting paid less than Micah Parsons. He's got the guaranteed money there, and I think a big part of this deal is that it's 4 years, not 5, 6, or 7, like some of the people were talking about. So, quick reactions. Verg, we'll start with you. How would you grade the Hutch deal from both sides?
It's an A+. It's an A+. Very happy to have him locked up. Very happy to have a lot of guys in this team locked up. I think it's really fun, and it's the great thing about pro football compared to college is that we don't have to worry about these guys leaving. So it'll be very fun to watch them. He is a very good player, even though he's a bluer. I enjoy watching him play football, and I'd like to see him come up a little bit more clutch, as time goes on. But can't knock the guy's motor, man. He's a monster. He is a Detroit Lion. He is what they want out of all their players. So, love him.
Absolutely. Stark.
Yeah, it's a team-friendly deal. And I think that's so huge to keeping someone else further down the line, whether it's Gibbs or whoever. I just feel like with the way Holmes is doing this, I've said this before, how fun is it going to be to watch this team get better together? You're never going to have to rely on a big free agent to come in and hopefully play well. We're going to be watching the same core. It's how dynasties are built, man. I'm telling you, it's how dynasties are built. You got the Chiefs. They've got the same core. A couple guys in and out, but they got the core there that's been doing it forever. I love this. It's a, like I said, player for our team friendly. He could have went out and gotten more than Parsons. I guarantee they sat him down and said, look, we know you're better than Parsons. This means, but if we want to win a Super Bowl, maybe we do this. And it opens up space in the future. I think it's awesome. I think Hutch is that, like you guys said, he's the man. And to take a deal that he could have, like I just said, he could have gone for more than Parsons. The way contracts works, if you're the best and someone gets paid more, you deserve more. Yeah, he's awesome. This is going to be so good for the team. Just so excited to watch this group grow up together, like get better together. It's going to be amazing. Yeah. I think it will pay off in the end. We're going to have a Super Bowl in Detroit. I hope it's this year. If not this year, we're proving that they have a window, and it's bigger than everyone was saying, because these guys are signing deals, and they're going to have good players on the team for a long time. So it's great.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, and you guys both mentioned it, just getting everybody locked up. You just go through offense side of the ball. Goff, Monty, Penei Sewell. You got rookies across the middle of the line, so you got them locked up for a while. Amon-Ra, J-Mo locked up. On the defensive side of the ball, now Hutch, Aleem, Jack Campbell
Kirby
will be coming up, but Kirby is locked up. They've got, they are just the core, the nucleus of this team is locked up for a long time, which is awesome. And then, I think, the concession that Holmes had to make in the Hutch deal was giving him more guaranteed money than any non-quarterback has ever gotten. But in the grand scheme of things, $45 million a year for one of the top edge rushers in the NFL. I mean, I think 3-5 years from now, like by the time that deal kicks in, Hutch is going to be paid like a middle-of-the-road defensive end. The way the salary cap is moving in the NFL. I mean, it's an absolute steal. Masterclass by Brad yet again. Shout out to Brad Holmes. So, all right, gents, this was a ton of fun. Vergos, thank you for coming on. I hope you enjoyed it.
I have a quick question for you two.
Yeah.
So this is about who they signed next. So I feel like there's like three guys: Branch, Laporta, and Jack Campbell. Those are probably the three next guys that need to be paid. I think it's safe to say Campbell is a lock to be extended.
It has to be Campbell.
But let's say you can't keep Branch and Laporta.
Is this a fuck, marry, kill?
Fuck, marry, kill. Who do you choose between those two?
Laporta and Branch. Branch.
I'm taking Branch, and I love Laporta to death, but I'm taking Branch because he's such a difference maker on defense. He can play so many different positions, and Laporta is one of the top tight ends in the league, but on an offense that's as high-powered. I think Branch means more to the defense than Laporta means to the offense.
Okay.
Agree.
I agree as well.
Okay.
Am I not doing picks?
We are not doing picks. Jet shut that down so fast.
Wow.
I threw it
out.
Said
no picks without
make the picks. He said, "You think
he
I'm doing a 999?"
like me?
He doesn't believe in you.
He said there's no way in hell he's letting Vergos be the reason he does a 999.
Oh my god.
Wait, hold on. I actually have a question for you, because you're a listener to the show, so you know exactly what the punishments are. What is your dream scenario for who wins the picks and who loses?
It's Spencer doing the stand-up routine is the dream.
This can't happen.
Just because I know it will never happen. There's no... Imagine how hard it was to get him to do that tail.
I know.
There's absolutely no chance that you make him do that, and I think the content of trying to get him to do it would be so funny.
Nah, he's doing it. He's doing it. You know what I'm gonna start doing is on our shows, I'm gonna start dropping some tea leaves, especially if I get closer to that first place. I'm gonna drop like a joke that I've written at the end of episodes.
All right, guys, good show.
I'm getting close. All right, Vergos, thank you so much for hopping on. This was fun. We'll get you back on. This will not be your only time on. And shout out to everyone that was listening.
Nick's gonna be our new stop. If someone can't do it, Nick's jumping in.
Or we go